Hey all, and welcome. Let me ask you something right off the bat. How many of you have ever had a paycheck delayed or a bill come due at the worst possible time? Stressful, right? Now imagine that feeling stretched across millions of Americans because, as of today, the US government has officially shut down. Yeah, you heard that right. So, what happened? Well, at midnight on October 1st, funding for the federal government ran out. Lawmakers in Congress just couldn't agree on a spending plan, and that means huge portions of the government are literally grinding to a halt. And honestly, it's not just some political drama in Washington. It's something that's going to ripple through the lives of everyday people. Here's where the fight really got heated. Republicans in the House pushed through a short-term spending bill that would have funded the government until late November. But Democrats said no way, and for a pretty specific reason. They wanted to make sure health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act were extended and that Medicaid wasn't slashed. They also raised concerns about cuts to public media. Now, Republicans argued, hey, let's fund the government first and deal with all these policy debates later. But Democrats refused, saying that without protecting health care and essential programs, the deal wasn't worth taking. So basically, it was a game of political chicken. Each side waited for the other to blink, and instead, the clock struck midnight and bam, shut down. And here's the thing, it's not just some symbolic gesture. Real people are about to feel the consequences. Government workers are now facing furloughs. That means hundreds of thousands of federal employees are either being sent home without pay or asked to keep working without knowing when their next paycheck will come. Imagine showing up for your job and not being told if or when you're going to be paid. How long would you last before panic set in? And then there's healthcare. If this drags on, up to 10 million people could lose vital Medicaid coverage, and around 20 million Americans could see their health insurance premiums skyrocket without those Affordable Care Act credits being extended. Can you picture being in the middle of cancer treatment or managing a chronic condition and suddenly wondering if you'll still have coverage next month? That's the kind of uncertainty hanging over millions of people right now. Now, of course, both sides are pointing fingers. Democrats are saying Republicans force their hand with unfair proposals. Republicans are saying Democrats should have agreed to fund the government first and sort the rest out later. The White House is already laying blame, too, calling Democrats' policy demands insane and warning that the shutdown could last a while because of the stalemate. But here's something interesting to think about. Polls show the public isn't really siding with Democrats on this one. In fact, one New York Times/Siena poll showed 65% of Americans said Democrats shouldn't let the government shut down over this fight. And another survey showed the blame is pretty split. 38% of people blame Republicans, 27% blame Democrats, and nearly a third blame both. What do you think? Do you think Democrats were right to hold the line on protecting healthcare, or should they have compromised just to keep the government running? And let's not forget, this isn't the first time this has happened. The last major shutdown was back in late 2018 into 2019, and that one dragged on for 35 days, the longest in U.S. history. People couldn't get basic services, paychecks stopped, families were left struggling, and the economy took a serious hit. If this new shutdown stretches on even a fraction of that time, it could cost billions of dollars and create lasting damage. So what's next? Honestly, no one knows. Both sides are talking tough, but at some point, they'll have to come back to the table. The question is, who's going to give in first? And while the political drama unfolds, the ones paying the price aren't the politicians, it's federal workers, families relying on Medicaid, people counting on affordable health care, and taxpayers who are just trying to live their lives without constant chaos in Washington. Let me throw another question your way. Do you think shutdowns should even be possible? Should politicians be allowed to essentially hold the government hostage during these budget fights, or should there be automatic funding measures in place to prevent this from happening? Because right now, every time we hit one of these deadlines, millions of people are left hanging in the balance. At the end of the day, whether you lean left, right, or somewhere in the middle, this shutdown is a reminder that politics isn't just about debates on the Senate floor, it's about people's lives. And until there's a real solution, the uncertainty continues. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is more at fault here, and what would you do differently if you were in charge? If you found this breakdown helpful or interesting, don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe for more updates and analysis. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.